Thank you for listening to this podcast from TRE, Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain and around the world. For more information, please visit TRE.radio.
TRE in the afternoon. Presented by Hannah Murray.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Women Talk. With me in the studio today, Veronica Del Cerro, Debbie Bennett and Cookie Baudet. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. For you listening at home, if you would like to get involved, you can. Here's how.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95.
What a beautiful day, it's a wonderful life.
Okay, so we're now in the 1st of February. Can you believe it? January goes on forever, doesn't it? It's weird how that happens. So, February the 1st, which is Valentine's month. Valentine's Day coming up. I wondered if that everyone in happy relationships here, so we can comment on it from a relationship-y point of view. Gwyneth Paltrow has suggestions on various Valentine's Day presents we could get for our loved ones, like a his and hers sauna for £6,000 or a 18-carat Jenna Blake bracelet for £11,650, or a set of German-made chef's knives for £197. That actually made me chuckle, because you may think knives would be an awful present for a loved one on Valentine's Day, but I actually bought my husband a big meat cleaver for Valentine's Day a few years ago, because it was something that he wanted, and I thought, and he told me after Christmas, and his birthday's in July, so I thought, well, instead of waiting till July, I'll get it as a Valentine's present.
Nothing says I love you like a meat cleaver.
Exactly. But I thought we could discuss, because I have lots of friends that don't celebrate Valentine's Day with their partners at all. They don't do cards, they don't do dinner, presents, nothing. So I just thought it was an interesting point of discussion.
I don't do Valentine's at all.
Okay.
When I first met my husband, who was my boyfriend then, when we were courting in the really early days, I did say to him, I said, look, Justin, I don't do Valentine's, so please don't get me a card, I don't want any flowers, nothing. And he kind of went, yes. I found the one. I worked in florists in London during Valentine's. Mm-hmm. It's just a big con. We used to see guys coming in and they were desperate, panic-stricken. I've got to buy something for my wife, I've got to buy something for my girlfriend. And we just used to make up the prices on the spot of the roses and throw in, I'm sure she's going to need a teddy as well. And then maybe if you bought that as well, then it'd be a good Valentine's present. So we just used to fleece them, and the prices of the roses are more expensive at the flower market anyway, so that's the cost that the shop has to incur. But I've seen, it's just, for me, it's just a big con. And why can't every day be a day of love? Why is it just one day?
No, that's true. I see where you're going. As a newlywed, Veronica, do you do Valentine's?
Not really, but now you're reminding me, so maybe
maybe you should.
Is he listening?
Exactly.
Put you down for that bracelet.
Exactly.
Yes, put the list together.
I was liking the knives idea, actually, when I saw that.
Something practical.
But I'm more of probably a box of chocolates from Mercadona. I think that would probably be more. But no, I think why not go see a movie, celebrate it.
It's a good excuse. I totally get where you're coming from, Cookie, and I get it. It's a commercial thing. But I just think it's a great excuse to go out for dinner and maybe get a card that has a nice message in it, and maybe get a little pregnant. No, a little pregnant.
It is an expression.
Hello.
That's not working.
That's hilarious. Let's not get a little pregnant. Get a little present. Because there's 6 months between Christmas and our birthday. So his birthday's July, mine is August. So it's kind of in the middle of the year, which is great. So Valentine's is kind of another chance to do a little prezi.
Yeah, it's true. You know, my parents were married on Valentine's Day, but by accident. By accident, because it was in South America, and they didn't even... Well, they say they didn't know about it, and it turned out Valentine's.
Oh, that's
so it's an
lovely.
anniversary.
How about this? My husband and his ex-wife got married on Valentine's Day.
And divorced on Halloween.
Yes, exactly. That's funny. So there you go. Romantic story for everyone. Debbie, what about you?
Well, we do cards. We used to do presents, bigger things when, back in the day. But we have another anniversary. We have I Met You anniversary. I know this is really
It's
sick.
so cute.
Yeah, we have a Met You anniversary, December the 11th, and we have an I Love You anniversary, February the 19th. So we don't tend to go out for dinner for Valentine's because we've got our February 19th one coming up. Yeah.
Nice.
So we normally do something around that time.
Yeah.
But it's more about the I Love You one. But we still do a Valentine's card. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like an I Love You anniversary. That's really nice.
That's nice.
I wouldn't have a clue when mine would be, to be honest. We didn't kind of acknowledge the date.
Aww.
So I wouldn't know. Would you know?
I would know. We celebrate the... he took me to a bus station one time.
Fancy. And they say romance instead.
That was our
To get a bus or just
to get a bus, yeah.
So just a people watch.
No, he took me to a bus station, and we had our first real conversation and chat and huge laughs.
It was the perfect setting for I Love You.
Exactly. And I left, and that was it.
Brilliant. Yeah. So you remember the bus station as the standout moment of your relationship.
And actually on our first just because we're in Valentine's Day, our first date was started by a bin trip, actually. So one of our things...
A bin trip?
Too much.
We had to.
Did you go on a bin tour or something?
Exactly.
On the bus?
We had to drop off. We were trying to find bins. Oh, very long story.
You were trying to find bins? And why were you trying to find bins? Were they distressed?
So complicated.
Were you trying to search through them for presents?
No. We were dropping things off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, it's part of our Valentine's experience.
What, bins and buses?
Bins and bus stuff.
Anything else beginning with B?
Exactly.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I'm kind of lost for words. Brilliant. I love talking about food, especially one of the first subjects that we talk about. And I saw this today and thought, what? This is interesting. Why it's not a full English without pineapple. Forget mushrooms and tomatoes. The only healthy addition to a full English should be pineapple. The exotic fruit has a long history on our morning plates, according to the founder of the English Breakfast Society. I don't think I've ever had pineapple for breakfast. I will when I've had a bowl of fruit with muesli or porridge or whatever, but not with eggs.
No.
I think it goes way back to Victorian times when exotic fruits were being imported into the UK. Mm-hmm. So to make your breakfast fancy and showing to other people, look how much money I've got, then they would put pineapple on the plate, because we were discussing this before. Yeah. In London, in lots of obviously really fancy homes in the UK, you see a pineapple outside the house, which denotes wealth. So I think it probably comes from that. But we have pineapple on a pizza, so why not for breakfast?
No. I love pineapple on pizza.
So do I. Yeah. Hawaiian. Yeah. Can't beat it.
I really like it.
I think you can.
With a bin.
I think actually my tastes have changed, because I think in my younger days I probably would have thought it was fairly exotic to stick a bit of pineapple on a pizza. Wouldn't even hear about it now. No.
To be honest, I haven't had one for years. It was my go-to pizza for many years, but probably in the last 10, if not longer, I actually haven't had a Hawaiian in that long.
You're going to have one tonight.
But it's probably more because I'm not that bothered about ham on a pizza. Yeah. I wouldn't have ham on a pizza particularly. So that's probably the reason why I haven't kind of had...
Yeah, Hawaiian pizzas left my life with Rocky Road ice cream. It was kind of at the same time. Do you have Rocky Road?
Yeah, not so much. In the UK more.
Yeah.
You don't really see it here.
No,
as much.
here,
I used
no.
to
This is
love
back
it.
in the day. No, like before, it's like marshmallows,
And
That's just a sugar rush.
Oh, it's
Sending me
amazing.
crazy thing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would be.
so good though.
Ham, cheese, and pineapple toasted sandwich is very nice.
Ooh.
It's very nice.
Very interesting.
Oh, that does sound nice,
Well,
Debbie.
actually, I know. Well, actually, just thinking about that. Do you remember those cheese creamy things in a big tube, and it was cream cheese, but you'd get Primula, I think it was Primula cream cheese with pineapple. My mum used to buy that, and it was for parties, and like a little Ritz cracker. Oh, I say,
Your canapes.
Wait, I'm just saying, come home with a canapes, Ritz cracker with a Primula, with little
And they did one
swirl.
with smoked salmon.
Yes, exactly. So I think that was my extent of my pineapple. I love pineapple, but I want it as fruit. I want it pineapple, strawberries, and all that. I don't want to have an egg with a pineapple.
No.
And my husband would be freaking out. He is a full English sort of man, and he's just like the eggs, and bacon and stuff.
Don't add a pineapple.
No way, far too healthy.
What about gammon and pineapple?
Now he would do that. I'm not into gammon. Well, actually, that's not true. Peter would probably stick an egg on it. He said nothing. No,
Yes.
Food is always improved with sticking it with an egg. Yeah, with an egg on top. Yeah.
Interesting. This made me chuckle. Why man? Local accents may make robots more trustworthy. As anyone who's ever heard a Dalek will know, robots tend to speak with a monotonous, automated voice. But research suggests people might prefer them to use a familiar accent. A study has found that speaking in a local dialect can make robots seem more trustworthy and competent. It just makes me laugh, just the idea of picturing a robot and coming along and it's speaking in a Geordie accent or a Liverpool accent. I just think that would make me laugh. But
I'm
I
thinking
see the
I'm
point.
thinking of a Dalek saying, "I exterminate you," with a Geordie accent. That's quite funny. Yeah.
It would be funny. I kind of get the point, to be honest. It makes it seem more normal as opposed to like a robot.
Well, you wouldn't want them speaking from London, how they speak in London now, because all the robot would be saying would be blood and bro and yo and not finishing their words properly. So
You wouldn't understand what they're talking about.
exactly. So maybe in that instance, it's better to have a robotic voice. But yeah, it'd be really funny to hear a robot speaking a Scottish accent, Irish. I think it'd be quite funny to begin
But
with.
we already do. I mean, like we're already switching our car, the sat nav. Like the
AI.
Google Maps or whatever.
Siri.
She speaks in an accent that you
I
choose.
love it.
Yeah.
It's great fun. It's Waze, isn't it? Where you can change the accent. We've changed it to like Boy George. Can you? Or oh, it's so entertaining. It's really. Or you can change it to like a fitness instructor.
Oh, really?
And you go around a corner and she goes, "That's it," and it's amazing. That's it. Keep it going. I think you should drink some water. And she's like really like inspirational. Okay, keep it going like that kind of.
I loved
very
it.
funny.
On our, the old sat navs. I can't remember what they are. Whatever they were. What are they? Tom-toms. Exactly. That voice was really bizarre because if you had a Spanish word, they just had no idea.
No.
So you'd want to, when it was really hilarious, you'd want to go back and just listen to it again because I can't give you any examples because mine's gone blank. But they were just some really weird words that they would pronounce. So I think in that instance, it's bloody hilarious.
They still do it now. When we went to the Costa Blanca a couple of weeks ago, the sat nav, the normal sat nav that we have on Apple, was doing it. So Cartagena was Cartagena. It's because they just pronounce all of the vowels. So it's very entertaining. We better take a break.
Hannah Murray on TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Women Talk with me in the studio today, Veronica Del Cerro, Debbie Bennett and Cookie Baudet. There is an article here talking about health. It says Britons do not start taking their health seriously until they are almost 40 and often only after a scare. I expect this will be very different speaking to the men compared to the women, because in general women sort of are more conscious of getting checkups and things like that than men. But I just want you to think back, not that it's that far away obviously, to when you started taking your health more seriously? If there was a particular time or a particular incident, or compared to men in your life,
well, I think as I'm older, as I get older, I think I listen to all those, the aches and pains and whatever, and start thinking I should do something about this. And whereas before I'd think, it'd be fine, have a sleep, it'll be fine the next day, or a couple of days later, because you're invincible and everything's going to be fine. There's certain things I wouldn't ignore, of course, but generally aches and pains. And I've got a problem with my hip at the moment. Years ago, had that happened years ago, I would have just ignored it. But this time, as I'm getting older, I realise actually, it's not the next day. It's taken a little bit longer, so there must be something going on. So I'm not sure when it changes, but definitely I think there's an age-related. I must do something about it. Suddenly start thinking about your own mortality.
Absolutely. It does often take something in order to do it. If you're lucky enough to be lucky with your health, that you wouldn't necessarily be going to get lots of checkups all the time, making sure. I have friends who do that, to be honest, who are constantly going to get checkups for all kinds of things, and they're sort of encouraging you. You need to go and get this done. And I kind of think, do I? I don't know. I think there's a real balance. I know there's. We hear awful stories of things happening to people, often cancer related, to do with various parts of the body, and there's big campaigns in the media, you must go and get checked for these things, and obviously that's good advice. I'm not saying people shouldn't get checked, obviously, but at the same time, you could spend a lot of time going to get a lot of things checked. I don't know. But I know it's a balance.
Absolutely. But I also think when you said it'd be different if it was men, because I'd know with my husband, he'd make every excuse conceivable to say. He says it'll be all right.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. And I'm the one who now kicks him, and obviously he's not fine because I'm kicking him. I'm pushing him to do something about it, because I keep reminding him now that we're getting older and we've got to do stuff. That you're not going to just go to sleep and wake up and everything's fine. Things are different. So I do think there's an age thing in there as well.
Definitely. I think when you're younger, you have this, you think you're invincible, and nothing's going to happen to you, and even if you get an ache or a pain or a twinge, you just ignore it. You ignore it, and that happened to me. I ignored it. I was getting pains and ignored it, and then we flew to Holland for a holiday weekend and had to fly back and be rushed into hospital, and I had a ovarian cyst on my ovary, and a month later I had it ripped out and went into menopause. And I ignored that, and my partner at the time, obviously Justin, who's my boyfriend, he kept saying, because I'd be sitting on the sofa and just get a twinge, and I'm like, it's nothing. And the cyst was growing and growing and growing. So from that I've learned, obviously I'm not going to go run to the doctor every twinge, but if I know in my body something's not right, something's not sitting right in there, and this pain is going on too long, it doesn't feel right, I will go straight to the doctor and get checked out now. Straight to the doctor.
So maybe that's it. As we're getting older, we know our bodies better.
Yes,
perhaps that's
100%.
it. It's been with us longer, hasn't it? So we get to know our bodies better. Perhaps that's what it is.
Go on.
I think I've been an athlete for most of my life, so I think that's a different perspective towards it. It's just like taking care of your body in that physical way and making sure that you can still do it. And then I think being from the States is different. We don't have, once I chose my career that was self-employed and didn't have the access to healthcare, it becomes something that you have to think about very carefully. So you quit smoking, you have to take care of your body, you have to do all of the things so that you don't get bronchitis and can't afford to go to the doctor. You just can't. So it becomes a different relationship that you have, I think.
That's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Gwyneth Paltrow, we're back on her again. Is she batty?
Yes.
No! Yes.
No!
She's crazy.
So she is now talking about the health benefits of releasing anger. So this ties into something that we spoke about on the show a few weeks ago. I asked the men on Men Talk, I asked the women on Women Talk, and all of them didn't kind of relate to this as something that I thought would be amazing, and now she's talking about it. There was an article. I'll sort of tell you about the other article first of all. It was this woman that basically had a sledgehammer. There's this attraction, for want of a better word, in London where you can go and pay to smash up a room. You get like a sledgehammer, and you can go in and kind of take your anger out or stress or whatever and smash it up. And I thought that sounded like great fun, but none of them did. And now Gwyneth Paltrow's doing it, so it must be okay. So she says that her therapist or her coach suggested that she got a plastic bat from Amazon, and at times when she feels really stuck with anger, she just hits stuff with it. And I just thought, yay!
Love it.
I can understand that. I mean, that whole room thing, you've got to get on a train or a bus or something to get to that room to get your anger out. So you're carrying that anger with you, or you might be really happy and then all of a sudden you've got to go, right, I'm really angry now. What am I angry about? I'm going to beat this room, smash this room to pieces. So I don't get that, but I get about, getting your frustration out and your anger out by hitting something.
Exactly. I think people slam doors, people break things, people bang. If they're angry, they slam a drink on the table or something like this. So I get there is a need for it, and it does come out.
Release.
A release. But actually going somewhere, I value things. So the whole idea of destroying something, it's doing my head in, the thought of it. I can't imagine that somebody has put something together and then somebody comes in and destroys it. That just doesn't sit well with me. Doesn't sit well.
I suppose a lot of people take their anger and frustration out when they do sport as well. Like, say you're playing tennis or whatever and they get angry. Whack the ball a bit harder, hit that shuttlecock and...
For me, it's not an anger thing, because one of the ladies on Women Talk said, oh, you shouldn't keep your anger in, you need to let it out. And I said, oh no, I don't have an issue with not being able to express emotions ever. Have I had a problem with that? That's not the issue. It's just a weird kind of curiosity. It's just being in a shop and imagining what it would be like to just take your arm and just send all the glassware flying. Yeah. Obviously, I would never do it. Oh, I'm glad Alex is nodding.
Oh,
but I think
the American Beauty, throwing the plate across the room into the wall.
Exactly.
Or if I'm in a reading,
never do that.
I have these visualizations of throwing chairs.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yes, I'm so pleased I'm not the only weirdo.
Sometimes it gets close. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to don't take action.
But no, I would never do it. But it's just the visualization of what would happen if I just went bang, 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 on or just like, obviously I would never. So the idea of being able to do that, I think, wow, that would be really cool.
Yeah,
it's not going to be...
You're not coming to my house. That's all I'm saying. She's not coming.
It's obviously really cheap stuff that I don't know, but I mean, I know what you mean about wastage, but I mean,
but in terms of anger, I think a kickboxing class is so, but also screaming, just like having the vocal, the release of, super.
Should we all have one?
Yeah,
sure. Feel better now.
Yeah.
I know you're not going to smash anything up in here.
Exactly. I do it instead of punching the screen. Yes, perfect. We better take another break. I keep forgetting about them.
Hannah Murray, TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You are listening to Women Talk. With me in the studio today, we have Veronica, Debbie and Cookie. And there is an article about friendship. I asked the guys about this last week and thought, it's better to ask the women. Just because it was different. It's different. Men are different. And this is a really interesting article written by a woman. She said, most women couldn't cope without true friends. So why has it taken me until 45 to realise I need them too? And the article basically talks about the fact she has a good relationship with her husband and they do a lot together. And then a friend from many years ago reached out to her and they got together and she just had the best time. It was really enriching. She just got so much from it and realised that maybe she had sort of neglected, not necessarily specific friends, but just neglected the idea of friendship for a lot of her adult life and made more of a conscious effort to make friends and to get old friends back into her life, and how amazingly enriching that was, basically.
Yeah, I think, I've got friends from when I was from secondary school. I've actually known her since, before secondary school. Still my friend. We spoke on the phone the other day. We've went to separate schools, but we've grown up in the same environment. Was on a holiday with them in San Sebastian last year. We talk all the time. We don't see each other all the time, but when we are together, it's like we haven't been apart. Which is fantastic. So I almost see them like my sisters. But my husband, he's got his friends from his primary school.
Wow.
They're still his best friends.
That's amazing.
And they all went to secondary school together. They went travelling around Australia together.
Wow.
But they're still his best friends, and he probably speaks to them every week.
Wow, how interesting.
Yeah.
Especially for men, I have to say, because it's more common for women to keep in touch with friends.
Yeah.
So
Andrew also has his group of friends that they they
it's lovely.
Keep on all through COVID. They would meet and like play on games online and
That's really cool.
I don't have friends.
Be your friend. That's because you prefer bins.
Exactly. I was just about to say.
Exactly.
Spending too much time at the stop.
Yeah, people are starting to talk about you.
I know. No, it's just I mean, you have more acquaintances. I think meeting people in general and meeting friends with things that I like to do, that seems to be, and then because I'm so fluid of what I want to do, a lot of the times that changes, and so the people that I surround myself also changes.
Yeah.
I think that's true. Friendship groups can change depending on where you are, what you're doing, and your life evolves. And some people don't always come along for the ride with you. I have friends that I've known forever. I have a particular friend that I've known since infant school. We're still in contact, and it is a bit spooky when you say how long we've known each other. We won't do that one when you just say, oh, it's been a while, but and I know when I see her, we will not stop talking. It's just nice. It's just safe. It's nice. There's no sides. There's nothing. She doesn't need anything from me. I don't need anything from her. We're just us, and it's wonderful. It's a really
friendship.
Nice feeling. Whereas there's, throughout your life, you make friendship groups, and some evolve, some stay, some. It's time to move on. That's life, I think.
There are people change. Exactly. And there are people, though, that feels like you are just energetically in the same... I don't know. They seem to be family. They go into a family place. Like they're... Does that make sense?
Yeah. Friends are the family we choose.
Absolutely. You have a necklace that says that.
I think
I know you do. We bought it.
So, going from friends to quite shocking kind of friends. So the headline reads, when Sarah Jane was 22 stone, her friends were always sensitive about her figure. Yet when she dropped to 9 stone, they began making catty remarks. Now she asks, why do women hate it when their fat friend loses weight? Isn't that awful?
That's horrible, and they weren't very good friends to begin with.
Clearly not.
And she never sussed that out until she lost weight.
Yeah.
Because your friends should support you no matter what you're going through. Unless you've murdered somebody or you've done something really, really wrong, then your friends will call you out. But you don't... They're not friends.
No, definitely not. You should be like, wow, you look amazing. Well done, you. Good for you. I mean, really shocking, really sad.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly... She's in that relationship to make them feel better, and so that's not happening anymore. They don't appreciate it.
The rules have changed, haven't they? The rules have changed of that friendship. As you rightly said, they've invited someone in to a friendship group who makes them feel better about themselves, and when the balance shifts, they don't like it. The person who didn't know it was the one who was heavier, who lost the weight, because she thinks I'm guessing, I don't know this one, but I'm assuming that she thinks that everything is equal, and when it shifts, it's a big shock. But
sometimes that not only with weight, sometimes that happens with jobs. Like the roles that you play in groups in general, and sometimes your status in that group is lower, so then when you want to change, maybe that's not accepted. In the
Yeah, well, I
money
think
as
that's
well.
true. Yeah.
Money.
Money,
If
yeah.
you've got friends that have got more money than
Yeah.
other friends who haven't, and then that change was somebody comes
Yeah.
into money or somebody loses
Yeah.
money. You know, what you do together socially can obviously depend on how much money people have got or want to spend or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you're all used to doing things and then somebody ends up with a lot more money or a lot less money, that can also change the balance a
Right,
bit.
the group dynamic. And
Yeah.
it's like, ugh, this isn't working anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a shame, isn't it? Because if they are true friends and you are supposed to stay friends, then that shouldn't matter. I was going to say if they are true friends, but it doesn't have to be that people aren't true friends. It can just be that people change or things
I think
change.
that's it.
or-
Things change,
That's
and
right.
if you're, for instance, if you were used to going out to a particular, I don't know, high class restaurants with people in a group, and then your finances change, well, that's obviously going to affect the friendship because that's not the thing that pulls you together. So it's about the glue in any relationship, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like what holds you together. And I've seen people when you might be in a friendship group and you don't really speak out, and then you think, well, actually, I've had enough of this, and then you get a bit mouthy, and people don't like it.
Exactly, that's
Where
what
the
I
hell
mean.
did that come
Right.
from? Because they've been used to sort of maybe not bullying, but maybe. I don't know.
You feed into a certain
moulding
role.
you.
You
Yeah,
had a certain
absolutely.
role and you were playing that role,
Yeah.
and now you're not playing that role. They can't deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had that. I've had said this again, but I don't have friends.
Yeah.
But no,
Just bins. They're far more reliable, these bins.
I've got a really lovely bin pencil sharpener I can give you, actually.
no, it's definitely
From your
happens.
friend Cookie.
Yes.
And give it a regional accent, she'll never know.
No, it happens that you feel like to be friends with this person who's a wonderful, wonderful person, but I can't do it because I can't be the person I want to be
Yes, yeah.
with this person. It just won't happen. So
That's awful. You always have to be the person you want to be.
Too right.
Yeah.
Too right.
Always.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay. It's long been a man's world in which women have it tougher than their male counterparts. I'm reading from an article here. It's not just me talking. That's the conventional wisdom borne out by decades of evidence and experience. However, about a quarter of men aged between 16 and 59 believe quite the opposite. Overall, just under half of the public said that they think it's harder to be a woman than a man today, but 14% said the opposite. When it came to feminism, 43% of people says it has done more good to society than harm, with 12% thinking the opposite.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with that one about feminism and stuff. I think it has done a lot of good, but then I think there's a lot of, just like with anything, there's a lot of negativity as well with that comes with it. With regards to men thinking it's harder to be a woman these days, maybe it is.
I think it is purely from
Maybe it
the
is.
biological stuff.
Yeah,
that we have to
absolutely.
go
Yeah, I mean,
through.
that's just a
Sorry.
given.
Yeah.
That's just a given, you know.
I really do. You know,
yeah.
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Periods
Brian.
alone.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's women's talk. I guess.
just that alone.
No, I was thinking we had man's flu going around in in my house, and so I was like, oh, imagine if you also had your period at the same time, because that would be game over.
Yeah.
I mean, game over. The whole world would come to a halt.
Oh,
once a
seriously.
month.
The earth would stop spinning.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I think that now women are not only have to be the perfect mothers, but they also have to have full-time jobs and then run the house.
And then also look perfect on Instagram as well at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect wife, perfect friend.
Yeah.
Perfect lover.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot to live up to.
Absolutely.
But we're doing really well.
Oh,
ladies,
yeah.
I have to say.
It's
On
a
all aspects.
walk in the park, isn't
Yes.
it? Walk in the park. Yeah.
We need to work on bins a bit. We kind of date locations. Okay, we'll take a break before we move on to relationships.
Hannah Murray. TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Women Talk. We've got Veronica, Debbie and Cookie in the studio. And Cookie was telling a story off air that I was like, no, wait, you need to share this with the listeners. Apparently, there is an amazing bin in Vigo. Go.
Well, I thought it was amazing, and I actually really felt sorry for the bin.
What, because people putting rubbish in it?
No, It's just the way it was on the side of the road. It wasn't even looking at the sea.
He wasn't looking at the sea. Did he have eyes?
I was going to pay time.
Mind you, some of them, when they've got those...
Hold on. Sorry, Debbie.
Yeah.
Sorry, Debbie. What's so good about this bin? What made you realise?
I don't know. I looked at this bin because it sat on our balcony, and I looked across the road and I saw this bin.
Great
And
view.
it was-
Great view. She's getting very excited now.
And it was parked. It's like almost like ski whiff to the actual road, and it couldn't climb up on the curb.
Why was that then? Because it's a bin.
It couldn't get away, so it was stuck. So I felt really sorry for this bin, and I said to my husband, I feel really, really sorry for that bin. I got actually quite upset by the bin, and I said I'm going to go and turn it around so it can face the sea. And then
Which part of it facing the sea? Don't bins look kind of the same all the way
no, because
around?
the lid would open that way instead of front way. So if you turned it that way, then its lid would open facing the sea.
I want to just add, because if they've got things where you poke things through, it looks like a face.
Oh, I didn't have
It
one of those.
They look like they've got faces.
So did you make it so it's flat face the sea?
No, because I didn't move it. I kept saying to my husband, I'm going to go and move it. I'm going to go and move it. And my husband said, they're going to think you're mental. So I didn't.
Could be this is a whole new side of you. We're discovering a whole new side.
And then we went back to Vigo this summer.
Was it still there?
It was a different bin. It was orange, green. And I was concerned about the green bin.
Maybe the bin was on holiday like him. Just passing through, love, just passing through.
That bin is in Andalusia.
Yeah.
Maybe the bin's gone to find you because
Maybe.
you gave it the most attention.
Yeah, I think I developed a real soft spot for that bin.
Wow.
Exactly. So now you know.
No, I know.
Have you heard of the woman who's married to the Eiffel Tower?
No.
Okay.
That's crazy.
There's people. Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you're not.
There's people who get married to objects. Is that too far?
Yeah, that's too far.
Okay.
I would never marry the bin.
I do.
No, because you're already married.
It wouldn't be secret marriage.
Don't you develop a relationship with your objects? Do you not talk to do you not tell them you're sorry if you bump into your table?
Oh,
Not the
gosh,
plants I talk to.
Yeah, I do.
No.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, and that's why I don't want to
Really?
destroy them.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
because
You say sorry to your table when you bump into it.
Sometimes it depends.
Yeah, not
If I
all the
have-
time.
Yeah, not all the time.
I
but
don't
it's-
chat to it and ask it if it's had
Yeah.
a good day, and I don't have this thing about I really want to move that table. I mean, I'll just go ahead and do it if it's not in the right position. I don't think the table's in distress in any shape or form, like you in the bin.
I'm really shocked. I'm aghast that you apologise to inanimate objects for.
I walk into doors and door
Yeah, door.
frames, but I'll say, who put that door there?
Oh yes.
And it's like, well, the door's always been there, it's you. You need
Yes.
to...
No, I would apologise to the door if I caught it.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't want to damage. This is again like looking after things.
But the door doesn't have feelings.
Oh,
It's a
my
piece of
door
wood.
does.
And
you
your
say
car?
that. Neither does that
Your
bin.
car?
Yeah. The car.
car.
Ah, the car.
No.
Your car doesn't have a name.
No.
Mine doesn't. Mine's a
Mine
company
does.
car, so
Yours does
mine
too.
doesn't.
Yeah, you see.
No, I name pets.
Oh.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
What is your car's name?
They're
Jezebel.
living things.
The car is Jezebel because it's got those initials in the
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's obvious when you see a car registration, you know what the name of that car should be.
Oh, I automatically find words. So ours MLH. So mine. So I looked at that straight away and went, "Oh, Mum loves Hannah."
Yeah.
Oh,
That's lovely. Oh, that's
so
really
nice.
beautiful. Yeah, that's nice.
My car outside is Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh, do you mean Jesus?
Jesus. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And my other one is Lambert.
Lambert. Why?
It's named after a cartoon, Lambert the sheepish lion.
Not Lamborghini, no.
We go to bins, darling. We go to bins.
It's called Biver.
That's wishful thinking then. That's wishful thinking. Lambert, because I want to have a Lamborghini.
It's a Peugeot. It's a light. So it's
I want to hear
That's
more
sheepish
about
lion.
Jesus or Jesus. Why?
why it did the license plate.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Not because it has this big
No,
cross on it.
no,
Not because
it's
she's
not.
driving around in the Pope-mobile.
Turns water into wine. Okay, moving on to arguments. This is talking about couples' arguments. And I thought this was quite fascinating, so I'll read you the first part. The first 3 minutes of a fight can predict the status of the relationship 6 years later. During an argument, couples who exhibited 4 key behaviours frequently: criticism, contempt, stonewalling and defensiveness, and never repaired them, were more likely to split an average of 5 years post-wedding. We call these the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Criticism is an attack on a person rather than a complaint about an issue. Contempt, an eye roll or sarcastic tone. Stonewalling is shutting down and refusing to communicate. And defensiveness is where you make bad excuses or reverse blame. This is interesting.
I don't actually get that. So you saying in that argument, any argument, and like 6 years later, you're going to say, "Do you remember 6 years ago when you?" Is that what
people do that?
No.
People do that.
No.
People do that.
I
I'm
think-
struggling working out what I did this morning about that moment, let alone 6 years ago.
Well, I think it's just kind of talking about these 4 things. If you're displaying those 4 things on a regular basis during arguments,
Okay.
that's not great.
No, of course it's not.
But she says avoiding conflict isn't the answer either. Like, conflict and arguing and disagreeing is perfectly fine and normal, but there are ways of doing it and ways not to do it.
Yeah, but you can have a disagreement without it turning into an argument.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
you don't have to agree on everything, and if you have that conversation that's about the disagreement, it doesn't necessarily need to turn into an argument, and you don't need to start shouting and screaming and stonewalling and all. You just don't need to do that.
No.
You know, I know one thing that does annoy my husband is if we do get into a little thing, I'll go all South London on him, and I'll go, yeah, whatever. And I walk off, and he hates that. But I'm going to get copper from the bin. That's what I'm doing.
Go to Vigo. Yeah. Oh,
I mean, I think we all have our ways of going about it. We can label them in different ways. And yes, those do sound familiar. The 4 horsemen.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think we also work on it. It's like, okay, I hear you. You know, you do these slow changes of trying to work. But fighting is natural and part of it, and that's what we do.
I think it's good to do it without being personal. You know, I get the point when they're saying, what is it, the criticism. So instead of attacking a person, rather the complaint about an issue. You know, that's very important. There's a difference between saying, I don't know, I can't think of an example now, but, you know, will you fix this? Please, can you fix this? This really needs to be fixed. You know, talking about a specific issue that needs to be done, than calling the person stupid for not fixing it. You know, what's your problem? You never knew that. You always did this.
Always. That's the danger.
You always, you never, those kind of...
I think we've all had them. I really do. Not on a regular basis. I think Peter and I don't row that much, but when we do, we have a ding-dong. And... You know, it'll be a bit of a ding-dong. A bit of a ding-dong. You know, it's just sort of...
Ding-dong.
Yeah. But not on a regular basis, and it just clears the air.
Yeah.
You know, and most of the time it used to be like once a year because of work stresses and stuff. It used to be after survived summer, because we get really busy at summer. So survived summer, absolutely exhausted, always get divorced in September because we'd have this row and it would be, that's it, we get divorced, and then it's just, oh, then it's a bloody stupid, you know, and it's gone again, and then we love each other, you know.
Absolutely.
We need to buy plastic bats. This is the thing that we need.
Bats.
I thought you said bags.
I was like,
You've got bags. Yes, that Halloween guy.
bats. I was like, what is that going to do? Okay. Maybe we could hit each other.
I think it's healthy. I think fighting is healthy. I think what's more important is the time that you take to recover from a fight.
Absolutely.
The bounce back.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, let it go, release, express, not repress.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Mark.
Spoken like a true therapist. The proportion of people who are either married or in civil partnerships has dropped below 50% for the first time, amid fears that the declining trend is bad news for the future of families. Do you think it matters that people are getting married less? Is marriage something that...
Yeah, I think if you're I personally feel if you're married, you tend to be more committed into that relationship. And I think these days people are entering into relationships without getting married, and then it's like, yeah, we'll break up, I'll start dating somebody else, I'll enter in a relationship with that person, that doesn't work, I'll go with somebody else. And you haven't got that commitment with that person. Yeah, if you're married and it's not going to work, it's not going to work. But I think you do tend to try and work things out more if you are married.
Yeah.
And you're committed to that relationship rather than just dating somebody. I think that's more, I don't know.
I totally know what you mean. It was a big deal for me to get married, and I'm really pleased I did, and it felt, it felt weird kind of in my, I got married at the age of 37, and it felt weird in my mid-30s talking about a boyfriend. It felt strange, and I thought I don't want him to be my boyfriend, and it felt so nice to say my husband, and I still like that. I think it's really
I love
special.
being married.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah.
It reaches a point where you're like, this is silly to be saying my boyfriend. Yeah.
92, my boyfriend.
But if that's what you want, all for it. I don't care. I think it's maybe if you have, I don't have kids, so again, I can't really judge, but I think maybe it's better for kids, but again, I don't know.
I wonder if it's, I think we were saying this beforehand, is I personally believe in marriage. I think it is about commitment, but that's a personal thing, so each to your own. But I wondered if it was financial these days. Is it now people, and a lot of people enjoying their lives and thinking, well, actually I'm enjoying living, I've become quite selfish and I don't want to lose that, so or they can't afford it, so a bit of both, and maybe people are really thinking about it more, which is good. It's a good thing.
Think about how it's changed. We're talking about feminism. God, if you watch any of these shows from just even 30 years ago, everything's totally different. The women's role in the world is completely different. You don't have to get married. It's a different thing.
I think it's also from how you've been brought up, because my parents obviously never got divorced. The only reason my parents aren't together anymore is because my mum passed away. Otherwise they'd still be married. The same with my husband. Both his parents have passed away in the last couple of years, but they were together, and I think we've grown up in a generation where we've been around people that are married and that haven't got divorced. You see that growing up, and it's just a natural thing, whereas I think now these days more and more people get divorced.
It's more disposable, isn't it?
So this is why maybe potentially the younger generation now don't see marriage as marriage, because their parents have been divorced, everybody they know potentially has been divorced, so they don't see it as a commitment to another person, and it's much more fluid now.
I wonder why that is, why they're not seeing it as a commitment, because again I completely agree, and I think we'd had this conversation before here with being at school and actually not realising there was one girl in the class whose parents were no longer together, and she was off sick, and I was writing the envelope for her parents with her report card in, and I put Mr. and Mrs. and the teacher just scribbled out Mr. and I was because it was the most natural thing in the world that there was a Mr. and Mrs. I had no idea, and nobody talks about it because you just made this assumption.
I wonder if it's to do with these days the whole kind of idea that we want stuff quickly, being able to do everything on our phones, from emails to booking flights to doing whatever, and it's that kind of and there's also that people are always talking about how to be happy, if you're not happy, do whatever it takes to make yourself happy. It's all that kind of thing. If you're not happy, if you're not happy in a job, leave it. If you're not happy in a marriage, leave it. If you're not happy with a friend, don't be friends with them. It's all that kind of, we need to look after ourselves, we need to be happy, and instead of being in an unhappy marriage, it's better not to be married. You should work at it.
Like not wanting to compromise, not wanting to sacrifice, which I do think that is part of today. We are not compromising at all, very, very little, and that idea
which isn't a good thing.
I think we live in a throwaway society, and relationships are now part of that throwaway society. Everything's disposable, which is sad. It's really sad.
It is, absolutely. Well, we're going to leave on a I was going to say high. It's
That's
not really,
not much
is it?
of a
It's
high.
low.
Let's go back to the
So
bins
let's change
then.
it.
Let's talk about the
Let's
bins. Yeah, bins.
Where is Vigo, by the way?
Galicia.
Ah, Galicia. So we need to go all the way to Galicia
To see an
your
orange
bins.
bin. Orange or green? What colour was it?
The one that I felt really sorry
That
for.
you fell in
was,
love with.
Yeah, I think I have got a crush on it. Was green, but
Okay.
the orange one that replaced it did look happier. And my
it's because
husband
of the
did say to me,
colour.
he went, "Oh, look, the bin." I went, "It's not the same one. It's different
You
colour."
knew.
Is the new bin facing the sea?
It was facing the road, so it was turned round facing the road.
And he was happy facing the road? I wouldn't be.
I didn't really care about him because he was. Notice how I gave him.
You're racist.
And Hannah, I just gave him a gender as well. I called him a he.
The orange man bin.
It's a Trump bin.
Thank you, ladies.
Oh, I'm going to be cancelled.
You've been listening to a TRE production. If you've enjoyed this programme, there'll be another episode waiting for you next week, right here on this platform, where you can also access our extensive back catalogue of shows and interviews. For more information on our live programming, social media channels and apps, and how to contact Talk Radio Europe, please visit tre.radio.